This episode is brought to you by Glorify, the #1 Christian daily devotional app. Everything around us changes. God doesn't. That's why I love Glorify's 21-day challenge. It helps me build a simple habit of meeting with God every day. No pressure, just consistency. With Glorify, you can start your morning by reading the Bible passage of the day, diving into Glorify's daily devotional, and wrapping up with an immersive experience called Daily Walk with God. And if you need to take a few minutes to yourself in the middle of a busy day, try one of Glorify's guided meditations, or listen to their curated worship playlists for some quiet reflection. To end the day, enjoy Glorify's sleep meditations to help you wind down and put your mind and heart at ease. Whether you're a committed Christian or simply curious about faith, Glorify has something for you. Join over 20 million people who have downloaded the Glorify app and deepened their relationship with God. Listeners to the show can get full access to Glorify for just $29.99 for the entire year. That's Glorify's lowest price ever when you download the Glorify app now at glorify-app.com/redcircle. Feel closer to God this year with Glorify. Get full access all year for just $29.99 at glorify-app.com/redcircle. That's glorify-app.com/redcircle.
Have you ever felt like you're trapped in a prison of your own making? Like the chains of fear, doubt, and uncertainty are holding you back from living the life you've always dreamed of. You're not alone. We all face challenges that seem hard, and it's easy to feel like we're stuck in a never-ending cycle of struggle. But today, I want to tell you a secret that will change everything. A secret that will give you hope, freedom, and a sense of purpose. Are you ready to break free from the chains that bind you? You see, God is not a God who delights in our suffering. He's not a God who takes pleasure in our pain. He's a God who longs for us to be free, to be whole, to be living the abundant life He has promised us. And He's waiting for us to turn to Him, to cry out for help, and to let Him set us free. Imagine waking up every morning feeling like you can take on the world. Imagine having the strength and courage to face each day with confidence and joy. Imagine being able to overcome every obstacle, every challenge, every fear that comes your way. That's what God promises us when we surrender our lives to Him. But here's the thing. We often make things harder than they need to be. We get tangled up in our own thoughts, our own doubts, our own fears. We start to believe lies about ourselves, about God, about our circumstances, and before we know it, we're stuck in a prison of our own making. But God is a God of rescue. He's a God of redemption. He's a God who sees us, who knows us, and who loves us more than we could ever imagine. And He's willing to do whatever it takes to set us free. When we come to Him with open hearts and open hands, He promises to break every chain that binds us. He promises to deliver us from the darkness into the light. He promises to give us a new song in our hearts, a song of praise and worship. So how do we get there? How do we break free from the chains that bind us? It starts with surrender. It starts with acknowledging that we're powerless without God and asking Him to take control. It starts with confessing our sins, both big and small. When we surrender, God promises to meet us where we are. He promises to heal our brokenness, to mend our wounded hearts. He promises to give us strength when we're weak, hope when we're hopeless. But here's the thing. Breaking free from the chains that bind us isn't always easy. It's often messy and painful and scary. But it's worth it, because on the other side of those chains is freedom. Freedom to live life on purpose. Freedom to pursue our dreams without fear of failure or rejection. Freedom to be ourselves without apology or shame. When we break free from the chains that bind us, we become who God created us to be. We become bold and fearless and confident. We become warriors of faith, standing strong against the forces of darkness and despair. We become lights in a world that needs hope. So what are you waiting for? What chains are binding you down? What fears are holding you back? Take a deep breath and whisper his name, Jesus. Ask him to set you free. Ask him to break every chain that binds you. And then watch as he does exactly that. Watch as he sets your feet on solid ground and gives you wings to soar. You are not alone in this journey. You are not alone in your struggles or your doubts or your fears. But you are not alone in your freedom either. We're all on this journey together, breaking free from the chains that bind us and running towards the freedom that awaits us. And I want you to know that it's possible. It's possible for you to break free from those chains and start living the life you've always dreamed of. It's possible for you to have peace that passes understanding, even in the midst of chaos and uncertainty. It's possible for you to have joy that overflows from your soul, even when things seem darkest. And it's possible for you to have hope that never fades away, even when all seems lost. Imagine a life where every burden is lifted, where every shackle that binds you is shattered by a force greater than anything you've ever known. Chains come in many forms: fear, addiction, depression, financial struggles. These chains can feel so heavy, so unbreakable, that hope seems like a distant dream. But remember this: God's power is limitless. He sees your pain, He knows your struggles, and He is ready to intervene. Hold on to this promise.
This episode is brought to you by Glorify, the #1 Christian daily devotional app. Everything around us changes. God doesn't. That's why I love Glorify's 21-day challenge. It helps me build a simple habit of meeting with God every day. No pressure, just consistency. With Glorify, you can start your morning by reading the Bible passage of the day, diving into Glorify's daily devotional, and wrapping up with an immersive experience called Daily Walk with God. And if you need to take a few minutes to yourself in the middle of a busy day, try one of Glorify's guided meditations, or listen to their curated worship playlists for some quiet reflection. To end the day, enjoy Glorify's sleep meditations to help you wind down and put your mind and heart at ease. Whether you're a committed Christian or simply curious about faith, Glorify has something for you. Join over 20 million people who have downloaded the Glorify app and deepened their relationship with God. Listeners to the show can get full access to Glorify for just $29.99 for the entire year. That's Glorify's lowest price ever when you download the Glorify app now at glorify-app.com/redcircle. Feel closer to God this year with Glorify. Get full access all year for just $29.99 at glorify-app.com/redcircle. That's glorify-app.com/redcircle.
As we venture deeper into understanding His miraculous ways. Our lives are like intricate tapestries woven with threads of joy and sorrow, triumph and defeat. Sometimes these threads become tangled, forming knots that seem impossible to untie. But God's hands are those of a master weaver. He can untangle any mess, straighten any crooked path. With Him, the impossible becomes possible, and every chain is destined to be broken. Think about the story of Paul and Silas, imprisoned and bound in chains, yet they sang hymns and prayed. In the darkest of times, their faith did not waver. And then, a miracle. An earthquake shook the foundations of the prison, and their chains fell away. This story is not just ancient history. It's a testament to what God can do in your life today. Faith can indeed move mountains and break chains. How often do we find ourselves shackled by guilt and regret, haunted by past mistakes. It's as if we're imprisoned by our own memories. But God's love is a powerful force of redemption. He offers forgiveness and a fresh start. Imagine the weight lifting off your shoulders as His grace washes over you, breaking the chains of the past and opening a path to a brighter future. In moments of solitude, when the world's noise fades and we confront our inner battles, we must remember that we are never truly alone. God is there in the silence, ready to heal and restore. His presence is like a gentle whisper, a reminder that His power is made perfect in our weakness. It's in these quiet moments that the most profound chains are broken. Financial burdens can feel like the heaviest chains of all, weighing us down with worry and fear. But God is our provider. He owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, and His resources are limitless. When we trust in Him and lean not on our understanding, He opens doors we never knew existed. He breaks the chains of lack and ushers us into abundance. Emotional scars can be deep, leaving us feeling chained to pain and sorrow. But God is the ultimate healer. He binds up the brokenhearted and heals our wounds. His love penetrates the deepest hurts, bringing restoration and peace. As we open our hearts to Him, we begin to feel the chains of emotional pain fall away, replaced by a profound sense of peace. Addictions can feel like a never-ending battle, a chain that seems impossible to break. But with God, nothing is impossible. His strength is made perfect in our weakness. When we surrender our struggles to Him, He empowers us to overcome. He breaks the chains of addiction, freeing us to live a life of purpose and fulfillment. Fear can be a paralyzing force, chaining us to a life of limitations. But God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. When we trust in His perfect love, fear loses its grip. We are empowered to step out in faith, knowing that He is with us every step of the way. The chains of fear are broken, and we walk in boldness and courage. As you begin this journey of breaking free from the chains that bind you, remember that it's not just about changing your circumstances, it's about changing your heart. It's about allowing God to transform you from the inside out. When we surrender our lives to God, we're not just asking Him to fix our problems or change our circumstances. We're asking Him to change us. We're asking Him to make us new creations. And that's a scary thing, isn't it? To think about being changed, to think about letting go of who we are and who we've become. But it's also the most freeing thing we can do. Because when we're no longer bound by our own selfish desires and fears, when we're no longer controlled by our own doubts and insecurities, we're free to live life on purpose. We're free to pursue our passions and dreams without apology or shame. We're free to love without condition or expectation. And that's what God is waiting for. He's waiting for us to let go of our grip on life and allow Him to take control. He's waiting for us to trust Him enough to let Him change us from the inside out. So what does that look like? What does it look like to let go of our old selves and embrace the new creation God is calling us to be? It looks like humility. It looks like surrender. It looks like vulnerability. It looks like admitting our failures and our flaws and our fears. It looks like acknowledging our need for God and asking for His help. And it looks like trusting Him enough to let go of our grip on life and allow Him to take control. That's not always easy, is it? That's not always comfortable. Because when we let go of our old selves and embrace the new creation God is calling us to be, we become people who can truly live life on purpose. We become people who can truly love without condition or expectation. We become people who can truly live without fear of rejection or failure. And that's what God wants for us. That's what He longs for us. That's what He's been waiting for all along. Loneliness can feel like an unbreakable chain, isolating us from the world. But God is always with us, a friend who sticks closer than a brother. He surrounds us with His love and fills our hearts with His presence. In Him, we find true companionship, and the chains of loneliness are broken, replaced by a sense of belonging and love. The chains of doubt can be strong, causing us to question our worth and purpose. But God sees us through eyes of love. He knows our potential and has a plan for our lives. When we embrace His truth, the chains of doubt are shattered, and we begin to see ourselves as He sees us, precious, valued, and capable of great things. Betrayal can leave us feeling bound by bitterness and unforgiveness. But God calls us to forgive, just as He has forgiven us. Forgiveness is a powerful act that breaks the chains of bitterness and frees our hearts. As we choose to forgive, we release the pain and make room for healing and peace to flow into our lives. Health challenges can feel like chains, restricting our lives and causing despair. But God is our healer. He knit us together in our mother's womb, and He knows every cell in our bodies. His power can restore us to health and wholeness. As we place our trust in Him, the chains of illness are broken, and we experience His healing touch. Generational curses can feel like chains that bind us to a cycle of pain and dysfunction, but God's power can break any curse. Through Jesus, we are redeemed from the curse and blessed with a new identity. The chains of generational curses are broken, and we walk in the freedom and blessing of our new life in Christ. Sometimes, the chains that bind us are of our own making, bad habits, negative thinking, or self-sabotage. But God gives us the power to change. His Spirit works within us, transforming our minds and renewing our hearts. As we align our thoughts and actions with His will, the chains of self-imposed limitations are broken, and we step into a life of purpose and fulfillment. Grief can be a heavy chain, weighing down our hearts with sorrow and loss. But God is our comforter. He walks with us through the valley of the shadow of death and brings us out into the light. His presence soothes our pain and brings hope and healing. The chains of grief are broken, and we find peace in His loving embrace. Pride can be a subtle chain, keeping us from experiencing God's best. It blinds us to our need for Him and hinders our growth. But God calls us to humility. When we humble ourselves before Him, He lifts us up. The chains of pride are broken, and we experience the fullness of His grace and blessing in our lives. Shame can be a powerful chain, keeping us trapped in a cycle of guilt and self-condemnation. But God's love covers a multitude of sins. He removes our shame and clothes us in righteousness. As we accept His forgiveness, the chains of shame are broken, and we walk in the freedom of His love and acceptance. The world's expectations can be a chain, pressuring us to conform and lose our true selves. But God calls us to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. He sets us free from the need to please others and empowers us to live authentically. The chains of societal pressure are broken, and we walk in the freedom of being who God created us to be. Injustice can feel like a chain, binding us with anger and resentment. But God is a God of justice. He fights for us and brings righteousness and truth to light. As we trust in His justice, the chains of resentment are broken, and we are free to pursue peace and reconciliation. Hopelessness can be a chain that darkens our outlook on life. But God is our hope. He has plans to prosper us and give us a future. When we place our hope in Him, we are filled with joy and peace. The chains of hopelessness are broken, and we walk in the light of His promises. Disappointment can be a chain that crushes our spirit and dims our dreams. But God is our encourager. He turns our mourning into dancing and our sorrow into joy. As we trust in His goodness, the chains of disappointment are broken, and we find renewed hope and joy. Busyness can be a chain that distracts us from what truly matters. But God calls us to rest in Him. He invites us to lay down our burdens and find rest for our souls. As we prioritize time with Him, the chains of busyness are broken, and we find peace and balance in His presence. Comparison can be a chain that steals our joy and contentment. But God has a unique plan for each of us. When we focus on His plan for our lives, the chains of comparison are broken, and we find contentment and joy in our own journey. Perfectionism can be a chain that burdens us with unrealistic expectations. But God's grace is sufficient. He loves us as we are and calls us to rest in His perfection. As we embrace His grace, the chains of perfectionism are broken, and we find freedom in His love. Stagnation can be a chain that keeps us from growing and moving forward. But God is always doing a new thing. He calls us to step out in faith and embrace new opportunities. The chains of stagnation are broken, and we walk in the newness of life He offers. Unbelief can be a chain that limits our experience of God's power. But faith is a powerful force. When we believe in God's promises, the chains of unbelief are broken, and we see His miracles unfold in our lives. Despair can be a chain that darkens our hearts and minds. But God is our light and our salvation. He lifts us out of the pit of despair and sets our feet on solid ground. The chains of despair are broken, and we walk in His light and hope. As we conclude this journey together, I want to leave you with a final thought that will linger in your heart long after this video has ended. The God we serve is a God of miracles, a God who specializes in breaking every chain that binds us. He is a God who sees you, who knows your name, and who has a plan for your life that is far greater than anything you could ever imagine. My friend, I want to leave you with a message of hope and encouragement. No matter what challenges you may be facing, no matter what burdens you may be carrying, I declare to you that the God we serve is ready to set you free. He is ready to break every chain that has held you captive, to restore your hope, and to empower you to live the life of abundance and purpose that He has planned for you. As you walk away from this video, I want you to remember that the God we serve is a God of freedom and victory. He is a God who has overcome the world, and He is ready to help you overcome every obstacle that stands in your way. He is a God who will never leave you nor forsake you, and He is ready to walk with you every step of the way. So, my friend, I pray that you will take this message to heart. I pray that you will surrender your burdens to the God who breaks every chain, and that you will trust in His power to set you free. I pray that you will experience the transformative power of His love, and that you will discover the strength and courage to overcome every challenge that comes your way. And finally, I want to leave you with this final word of encouragement. The future that awaits you is one of endless possibilities. It is a future filled with hope, joy, and peace. It is a future where the chains of your past are broken, and where the God we serve is your guide and your protector. So, my friend, don't give up. Don't lose heart. Keep moving forward and know that the God we serve is with you every step of the way. God bless you,